Hi, my name is Dan Curtin. I'm President and CEO of Lightlife Foods and Field Roast Grain Meat Company. This is another exciting episode of Awesome Vegans.
Good morning, everybody. Hello, Chicago. So exciting. I am with CEO Dan Curtin, and I'm thrilled that you could make time for me today because I know things are quite busy in the plant-based space.
Well, I appreciate the invitation, and thank you for coming here.
Oh, okay. So, of course I'm here because, as you guys all know, let's cut to the chase. I live on this stuff. I cook so much with this stuff. You can, of course, go to lightlife.com and, of course, my site, Elysabeth, Alfano.com. So many recipes just with this product alone, and we're going to get into all the products you have. But before I do a huge show and tell, we are on a breaking news day with Impossible Whopper going throughout Burger King across the nation. Tell me what you think about all the competition that's come into your space that you've owned for 40 years.
We actually think it's terrific. You know, the more people that are getting into this, the more buzz that's happening, the more exposure that's happening for consumers to become aware of plant-based foods. We're wildly excited about. We believe all ships will rise as the water keeps going up. The excitement that we've had with Lightlife, we've been around, to your point, one of the pioneers for 40 years of the company. This is our 40th anniversary, yet we still keep reinventing ourselves with new products, which we'll be able to talk about. And our second brand, Field Roast, that we acquired about a year and a half ago, has been around for over 23 years. So the fact that people like Beyond and Impossible and some of other people are getting in is absolutely terrific. Great exposure, great products, making all of us better and offering more products for the consumer that's looking for alternatives out there to protein.
Yeah, of course, as we all know, it's a wildly exciting time. So tell me a little bit about the history of Lightlife. I'm not sure that everybody knows that you are one of the originals. Yep. And I think last time we spoke at WGN Radio, you told me that you still sell more than anyone else. Is that right? You have the largest market share?
That's correct. So Lightlife has been around for 40 years. It actually started with two people in Western Massachusetts. They started making Tempeh. That was the first product that they made, actually in a small garage. And they've expanded the business. They sold the business about 10 years ago to ConAgra, and then that was sold to private equity, and we bought it from private equity about a little over about 2.5 years ago. So yes, been around for 40 years. Although it's been around for 40 years, a lot of people still weren't aware of it. To your point, number one brand, but we put significant dollars behind advertising and marketing, innovation, adding capacity as well, because as the business continues to just do this, we had to put significant capital behind the plants to make sure that we could produce enough product to fill the needs that were out there.
So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, the strategy that is behind growing a business, because everybody thinks, oh, okay, Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods, we're not sure if they're here to stay. I think they are. But, you know, scaling up and distribution chains are very important. And, of course, Lightlife, with its history, has that in spades. And you've got backings of, you know, bigger companies and stuff. So you guys are kind of set from that perspective. But talk to me about some of the business challenges as business goes like this, as you say.
Thank you for the question. So there were a couple exciting things that happened when we acquired it. First of all, we've got the financial resources to be able to put the investment behind it. We also have set up a completely separate company. Although we're owned by a parent company, Maple Leaf, we've got a completely separate company called Greenleaf Foods. We're 100% focused on plant-based foods. So Lightlife was our first acquisition. We put, as I mentioned, significant capital behind it to expand distribution, to grow distribution, and we've been able to do that. We are now in over 35,000 grocery stores throughout the United States and Canada. We expanded into Canada. So we've been able to expand our geographic footprint, our product offerings, and the availability out throughout the marketplace. So with that, though, we needed to build a team, and we've been very fortunate to attract some top talent people in the industry who love what we're doing, believe in what we're doing, and are passionate about that. So getting the people right was really, really important to us. Obviously, the product speaks for itself. They're absolutely delicious, very nutritional products, very recognizable ingredients that are in all of our products, which is also helpful. And to your point, been around like Tempeh. It's amazing. This product's been around for over 40 years.
I cook with that all the time.
I will have a confession. I wasn't familiar with this product 3 years ago. After we acquired the company, I became familiar with it. It is now part of our regular diet at home.
Sure, because, folks, this thing has 40 grams of protein. I don't have the nutrients, so this is for the stockroom only, but I know this because I cook with it so much. 2.5 servings per container, 16 grams of protein per serving, so it's 40 grams of protein right here. So I don't want to hear like what do vegans eat and how to get your protein. You get it from Lifelight Tempeh. That's how you get it.
To your point, Elizabeth, it's an absolutely delicious product. You know, we had a couple different varieties. The other one that's amazing is the one that's a bacon product like this with that makes a terrific sandwich called the TTLA.
I eat it all the time.
Yeah, right. Tempeh, tomato, lettuce, and avocado is absolutely positively delicious, and it gives you all the protein and all the other things that you need. To your point, so
and it's
amazing,
so easy to make.
Product.
I stick it in the toaster oven. Takes like 5 minutes. Super tasty. And then for those of you that are watching your oil or any of that kind of stuff, I'm coming out with a cookbook soon, so we'll talk all about that. I use Dijon mustard. I know everyone else uses Vegan-A's, a great company, great product, but I try to keep it on the down low. So Dijon mustard is your friend.
So be on the lookout. In about 2 months, we're going to be having some new varieties coming out with this as well that are absolutely delicious to add
of the bacon
to it.
Or of the tempeh?
On the tempeh, on the tempeh with some flavor profiles that will allow you to even have more flexibility with the product as you go along. So really excited about what we're going to be doing with
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other things you've done with your products, because again, I'm not sure everybody knows about you. I mean, you have this plant-based history, but you're moving into the meat aisle.
Yes.
In fact, I think you've already done that.
Correct, we have.
And now, are you seeing more meat eaters? What's the profile of who buys your stuff now?
That's a great question. So I would say there's the traditional group that have either been heavy vegan, heavy vegetarian, is kind of the history of the product that's gone through that. What we've seen happen in the last couple of years, and a lot of it's been driven by the advertising and marketing and things that we've done to educate people about it, we're getting more and more flexitarians, reducitarians in looking for options.
Yes.
So that's attracting. And I think when they come, they end up realizing, wow, these are really good tasting products.
Yes.
I think the old school of what things used to taste like is very different than what people are experiencing today. However, we also recognize that we needed to broaden, based on our consumer feedback, beyond what we were just doing ourselves in the traditional type products with the hot dogs that we had, the tempeh that we had, and sausage products, all that. And we've expanded our product line into couple of great areas. One is our new burgers that you were talking about.
So delicious.
So we launched these just a couple of months ago. We're in over 7,000 grocery stores already with this, and soon to be expanding more in through the end of the quarter.
In the meat aisle.
Sold in the meat aisle, correct. So it comes in, sold in the meat aisle. And the reason that that's happened, there's a bigger traffic flow that happens in that area, and our consumers are telling us they're looking for options. So wildly excited about burgers, but probably more exciting about what we're doing is with our ground product. So we were the first to market with the ground product. You would use this just like you would use any type of ground beef product. So you could use it for meatballs or put it in your pasta or tacos or whatever you want to do. You could form it yourself to do burgers, anything. So it gives complete versatility, and it's absolutely positively terrific. And then we expanded beyond that with a sausage product, an Italian, in our brats.
And you have a beer infused. Oh, that's Field Roast.
That's Field Roast. You're jumping the gun.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll get to Field Roast in a minute. Okay, I just want to say that I cooked with this last night. I cooked for my mother, who grew up on meat and potatoes, and she hasn't really changed that yet. That's okay. I made her light life pasta. I did a pasta bolognese with this. She didn't know the difference, which is just how I wanted it. It was so tasty. And I will tell you, and I'm a fan of all the plant-based companies because I want the planet to survive. But I really like Light Life very seriously because I never feel as heavy as with the other products. I feel like there's a lot less oil.
There are.
So I feel like the nutrients are better. Walk me through that.
So one of the things that was critically important to us as we were developing this, we didn't want to be like everybody else because we're not like everybody else. Light Life has been around for 40 years. We're the pioneers of this, and we said if we're going to do things, our customers have a high expectation. So we needed to make sure that we were delivering something that was more nutritious than was out there, less ingredients than other people that are out there, and familiar ingredients. And we nailed it all the way through. We challenged our culinary people to make sure they got that right, and they worked really, really hard at that to make sure they did it. So they found the right combination of, it's all non-GMO, it's gluten-free, so the list goes on and on and on of what it's not. But what it is it's absolutely delicious. So for all you awesome vegans out there that are looking for things, these are the type of products that fit right into it, allows you the flexibility and versatility to do different things with it.
Yeah, and I'll also say for those of you awesome vegans who are the long-standing, not jumping on the bandwagon at the moment, but have been in it for a while, the reason you're seeing the change you're seeing today in the world is because Lightlife was here 40 years ago. So none of this change would be possible today if you didn't have the history of companies like Lightlife and then Field Roast. So let's jump that gun and go to Field Roast, because I also love Field Roast. The Field Roast roast. Now, I got to say, I make a super mean meatloaf, and I make it with Tempeh, Lightlife Tempeh. But you could also go for Field Roast meatloaf if you're not doing mine. Which
I actually happen to have one right here.
Oh, give me a Field Roast meatloaf. And there's oh my gosh, Field Roast. Oh, how I love you. I eat this stuff all the time. I slice it, put it in the toaster oven, and this is lunch like 3 days a week. And again, I never feel heavy when I eat this. Sometimes with some of the other burgers and stuff, like plant-based burgers, I kind of do. And just a lot less oil. I just feel like these are ingredients I know and can read.
I would say the difference here is that, so David Lee founded Field Roast 23 years ago, all from a culinary background. All wanted, fresh ingredients, fresh vegetables, hand-formed, hand put together, and worked exceptionally hard on that. We were attracted to that business. I was a fan of it. I was a consumer of the product. I thought it was absolutely delicious from the beginning. And as soon as we met, the chemistry was just there. He had an amazing vision what to do with the company. He saw what we were doing on Lightlife. He understood what we were doing from an owner-operator side of this. We are 100% committed to plant-based foods. We've got the backing of our CEO to do this, and we're working really hard at this. So Field Roast out of Seattle, Washington, started there, grew up there. We're now in the 4th different facility, so their business has grown during those 23 years. But we've seen significant increase in volume since we acquired it, because we were able to bring that into more grocery stores. We are in over 30,000 grocery stores with Field Roast. Same thing, we brought that up to Canada, as well as expand our distribution here in the United States. And in both places, we've been able to expand outside of just retail, and natural food stores, but into food service as well as areas we've been growing. So Field Roast, what we love about it is it's family-based, it is culinary-based, absolutely positively delicious, to your point. All the products are great. We're just launching a new, so this is how we sell our sausage products, and we're just launching a new bratwurst that we've partnered with Elysian Beer out of Seattle as well. So we took 2 local companies that partnered together, co-developed this to get the flavor profile right, and it's awesome, absolutely awesome. So different than the other sausage products that we sell under Lightlife. People use this. A surprise that I had was how I did it as a consumer. I would buy it and eat it like I would a traditional sausage. What we've learned, and this has happened through some of the culinary things that we've done, a lot of consumers buy this and actually use it as an ingredient. So they open it up and they'll put it into their sauces, they'll put it into their different servings that they have. Exactly, and use it as an ingredient. And we've been blown away by the feedback from the consumers that do that. So we actually developed a cookbook. Field Roast sells a cookbook, everyone does a cookbook these days.
Yes,
but Field Roast has a cookbook that uses all of our ingredients, and we teach people how to make our products, how to use the products, and it's worked out really, really well. So different approach from the Lightlife. So Lightlife's been around for 40 years. Field Roast has been around for 23 years. Both absolutely amazing with that. And we have got a breadth of products between deli slices and burgers and roasts, sausages, and we're also in cheese. We'll talk about cheese in a few minutes too, about what we do with our chow cheese. But really excited about what Field Roast has to offer as well.
So it's amazing. You maybe didn't realize the breadth of what happens here at Greenleaf Foods. So you have all of the Lightlife products, all of the Field Roast products, and then and there's so many. They keep coming out with new iterations. So beer-infused broths. I mean, genius. So talk to me about cheese now. So you maybe didn't know that Field Roast owns chow cheese.
Yes. So this is our product. Chow cheese is absolutely delicious product. The same thing. People are
I cook with this a lot.
I don't want to say fooled is the wrong word, but people who try the product, believe they're eating regular dairy cheese because of the consistency and the nutrition value with it and the mouthfeel and everything that goes with it. So this product is absolutely delicious. It's the number one selling sliced vegan cheese that's out there in the marketplace. So if you haven't tried it, please go do it. I think you'll be wildly impressed with how it tastes. To your point, you use it for cooking.
Yes.
It melts amazing.
Yeah, nachos. Nachos.
So, we kind of see it as our brother-sister deal here. You can buy the burger and put on chow cheese on top of it and give yourself a delicious vegan cheeseburger.
Yes. Okay, now, all of that you're telling me, growing the product line, getting in more stores, putting in a lot of money, seeing an increase in business, why, how do I put this question? Why am I not hearing more about it in the press?
So it's about timing. Some of it is about timing. So what was critically important to us was get the distribution right, then start the buzz. So we do things on social media. We are increasing that. We're increasing our investment in media significantly. It's the biggest financial investment we've ever made as a company. It's multiple times what it had done in the past. So we have a lot of things that are starting. This whole category is getting a lot of buzz. Distribution helps. Some of these events help. We were just down at Lollapalooza this weekend here in Chicago doing a big thing. We were up in Toronto doing a thing this past weekend as well. We've got some other things that are happening across the country as we're kind of going into what we didn't want to do. We made the decision. What comes first? Do you advertise and then bring the products, or you get the products and do the advertising? So we've tried to take the approach of doing a little bit of both, starting some advertising and some buzz. But now that the distribution's getting where we want it, it's going to start getting hicked up big time. We are on national TV with some traditional TV commercials that we started that about 3 weeks ago on the Lightlife burgers, explaining to the people how to use it and showing them that you have a traditional beef burger and you have the Lightlife burger, and it's very hard to tell the difference from that, right? So what we're trying to do after listening to our consumers is give the Field Roast consumer exactly what they're looking for and expand that with new varieties, give the Lightlife consumer what they're looking for, and then also bring in some of these other new products that consumers are looking for all in all. So it's been a busy 2.5 years for us.
A lot going on your plate. So let me delve into that a little bit more. So you've put in a lot of money, put in a lot of time, you've really listened to the consumers, and that has paid off in terms of more business. Is that right?
Significantly, yes.
It has. Can you share with me some of these growth numbers?
The business is, we've probably almost tripled the business from when we acquired it.
Oh my gosh, in 2 years?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of things that have gone on with it and continue to do things with it. So we've got a lot of things in the pipeline that's going to allow us to continue this growth that we have going on.
Wow, that's very exciting. Okay, so we talked about Impossible Foods, Beyond Meat. What about the other competitors who come with big dollars and distribution chains already lined up, just like you guys did? I just read this morning in Vegconomist that Archer Daniel Midlands might be coming in, that Bayer, which owns Monsanto, might be coming in because they've had falling numbers and they're looking to increase it, and they look around and they say, okay, plant-based is hot. Right. So as you see big players like this, Tyson getting in the market, what do you see? How does that... Are you nervous about this competition, or what do you think about it?
No, we actually think it's terrific, right? Because I think what's happening in the conversations with a lot of customers, both retail and food service, they're recognizing that options are critically important. Years ago, you would look at your menu in the restaurant, and maybe you would see a black bean burger on there. Maybe. Now what you're seeing is...
More than likely, sorry, just because someone who's vegan and it just really irks me, more than likely they'd say, oh, we can charge you the same amount of money, but we're going to take away all the meat and all the cheese. Right. You're going to get 1/3 of the plate, and that was really your option. Okay,
right. So you would either have a black bean burger or a garden burger or a boca burger. That was pretty much your options.
If you're lucky.
And I think what's happened now is people are looking that they want other options. So if you look at what's transitioned on the restaurant side of it, you see plant-based offerings in there. So people aren't losing the veto vote anymore because product has gotten better with it. So you have that happening. You have in the grocery stores where everything was either sold just in the produce section or in that one frozen door with the traditional players in there. It is expanding now. You're seeing what's happened on the dairy side of it with with the whole milk side, with almond milk, and now that's changed again with the oatmeal milk coming out, that other departments in the grocery stores are recognizing they need to allocate space for this, right? So they are starting to do that. And a lot of conversations we've had with people have been, how do we call this out properly? As an example, everything used to be called meatless, and people talked about what the products weren't as opposed to what they are. Now they're saying this is plant-based and this is really good. Let's tell the consumer what it is. And we've been always very transparent with our consumers, with our ingredients, and deliver on the messages on the packaging of telling them exactly what's in the product. So we find that that's really, really important for us to do that. So we see this thing changing as more of the larger companies get involved. We think it's good. We're looking at this probably as a horse race as opposed to a car race. And what I mean by that is a car race, everybody starts the race, but not everybody finishes. In a horse race, everybody starts and they all finish, right? They may finish in different spots with it, right? So as leaders in this, we believe that we're going to continue to do the things to make sure that we're up in the winning part of this race as well.
So let me give my comments on that, because I know sometimes people say like, oh gosh, all these meat companies are getting into, our traditional space. I think it's a really good thing because it forces the real estate in a grocery store to change. So the more major players you have coming to the table with major buying dollars, I'm not sure everybody knows this, but sometimes you have to buy your space in the grocery store aisle. Those dollars force a bigger change in the grocery store. So you're going to see plant-based in the meat aisle because bigger dollars are going there. And this little ostracized thing that you used to see over here for tofu and tofu pups that were Lightlife, by the way, hopefully that's going to go away. And that it's just going to be blended into another player that's come in. Hope I get this right. The Meatless Farm Company is now in Whole Foods. They're a UK brand now in the United States. They're suggesting it's called the protein aisle and not the meat aisle, so that people have the option and they can see all the places to get their protein. So I think it's a wonderful thing for anybody who's sort of curious about that. But I do have a concern, and my concern is Tyson came to the market with a plant-based nugget that contained eggs. So when you get the bigger players and the bigger dollars, sometimes, I don't want to sound jaded, only sometimes, the consumer is the loser behind all of the slogans that maybe aren't, if it's plant-based but it has eggs, help us here. So I worry that with so many big players and so many big dollars and everyone's going for the money, that the real information to the consumer gets lost. Any thoughts on that?
That's always a concern, right? That one of the things that we've prided ourselves on is that we are always true to the consumer. We tell them exactly what's in there. We don't try to do things and try to, cut things or give something that's not right. So that's critically important to us. Communication and being true to the consumer has to be there. The minute you lose the consumer trust, you're done.
You're done, right?
You're done. So, we can't control what other people are doing. We can only control what we are doing. And we've made that commitment. We will be true and we'll stay true and make sure that we're delivering all those pieces. For us, it's taste has to be right, nutritional value has to be right, quality has to be right, experience has to be right, because I don't want to sell you one package of something. I want you to become I want everyone to become you, Tempeh, after all these years of still coming back, because you get what you expect with this, right? And we're not going to do that. So I think there will be winners and losers for sure with this, and I think from our perspective, it's doing what's right. And doing what's right is really, really important to us.
Yeah, I love that. I'll sort of say, just to my Tyson comment, I think that's a pitch for they came to the game so late that they didn't have time to do the cooking or whatever, so they threw together something just to get in the aisle and have some face time, but they haven't really figured out the product yet, and they didn't have time because they got into it so late. That's my 2 cents.
I also think the buyers are smart, right?
Very smart.
They recognize that. I've had meetings with customers, both retail and natural and food service throughout North America, and they're very, very smart buyers. They understand what's going on. They're learning a lot. but there's confusion out there, and there are some mixed messages. So the ones that come to the table and are educated, they get it. They get it, and they understand it, and they want to make sure that they're offering their customer as well something that's true.
And I love that you say that, because I just want to add, today we're really talking about business strategy, but of course there are health implications here, and then there are health implications for the planet. So more than anything, and this is why I really love Lightlife, not just the Tempeh, but also the burgers. And when I go to read the ingredients, which is the point of this comment, read the ingredients, everybody, because when you go to read the ingredients and you educate yourself, products like Lightlife really stand apart because it's a short list of ingredients. You understand it all. And I think as we become more educated consumers, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to read the label. You have to read the articles about your health or whatever. Can't be relying even on the USDA. You must advocate for yourself, for your health, for the planet, for the future of your kids. Okay, let's get back to what you guys are doing. This, to me, is maybe even more exciting than the new flavors of Tempeh that you're coming out with. I understand that you're investing $310 million in a 230,000 square foot, the largest only plant-based facility making plant-based products in the United States in Shelbyville, Indiana.
That is absolutely correct.
So as someone from the Midwest, I am blown away by this, because it's happening in Indiana, right where there are farms all around you, pig farms, animal agriculture farms all around you. And they embraced you, at least everything 100%. I've read in press. So tell me about that.
First of all, we recognized that the volume was going on, that we needed to add more capacity into our system, right? So you can continue to add where like we are in both facilities, but we also recognize, as this thing goes, because to your point, we're in this thing for the long haul, right? We've got two brands that have been around for a long time. We're owned by a parent company that's been around for a long time. This is not the idea of the moment, let's get in and let's get out. We are 100% committed to plant-based foods, 100% committed to that. So as we added capital in both of our existing facilities to help with the capacity that we needed, we also recognized further out, because we're long-term players in this, that we needed to add other assets as well. We believe the best way for us to move forward is to do the self-manufacturing ourselves. Some other people don't do that. That may show a different level of commitment. Don't know, but they've got their own strategies why. Our strategy has always been put the assets in, build the capacity, and make sure that you're there to support the people. So it was an extensive search that we went through, and we ended up in Indiana for a variety of reasons. Infrastructure was great, and transportation was great. People are absolutely amazing. People of Indiana have been wildly excited about us as well coming there.
Go Indiana!
Yeah, exactly. IU, right, all the way. So as we looked at this, we said that was a great place to do it. So we recognized the size of the opportunity that we needed from the building side. So we're building this large plant and investing over $300 million, to your point, with it. So we closed on the land. We're starting the transition now, and we'll be up and running within the next 18 months or so is our plan.
In 2020.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. God willing.
Come on, lucky seven.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I talk about some of the more sweeping points, and Lightlife and Field Roast, Greenleaf Foods, move the needle. So when you start seeing animal agriculture farmers get their paychecks from something like Lightlife, you're going to see people's attitudes in that community change, not to mention that there have been studies done. It's very detrimental for communities around animal agriculture. There's chemical runoff, and there's other societal problems. You're going to see that community flourish. You're going to see those people get their paychecks. You're going to see people start changing their perspective. So when you can bring 460 jobs, which is what they're bringing to Indiana, that's a huge, dramatic impact, again, as we look to change the state of American health and the health of the planet down the future.
Yeah, well, we were wildly excited about it. Honestly,
that's the best news, I think, I've heard in a very long time.
Well, it just goes to show our further commitment,
right.
our further commitment to this. Between the acquisitions we've made and this, we've invested significant dollars with it, and we will continue to make the investment to bring innovation, to bring products to the masses. That's really important to us.
Yeah, and that's really a good community company, is when you're not just selling products, but you're also hiring people and creating jobs, and this makes the whole thing full circle. Okay, so I just have a couple other little questions that I want to see if you can answer. This is more sort of on the personal side. So what are we always going to find in your fridge?
Tempeh.
Yay!
Tempeh, absolutely. As I mentioned to you, this is now part of our staple at home. We use this all the time. We absolutely, positively love this product.
That's so fantastic.
It's awesome.
This has been like a little Tempeh. I didn't mean for it to be, but it's been like a little Tempeh love fest.
It's a remarkable product, yes.
Favorite snack? It can be junk food or healthy. You're on the go. You're super busy. CEO doesn't have time for interviews like this.
Pretzels.
Pretzels. Okay. Wow. Nice and salty. Do you cook it all?
Ish. Okay. I'm more of a griller.
Okay.
I'm a griller. My wife is the cook at home. I'm more of the griller.
Okay, fair enough. So long day, super busy. You walk through the door. What's the one thing you can always make on the stove or on the grill that you know is going to work out good? It's your recipe. It's your go-to.
Roasted vegetables.
I love it.
Fresh vegetables. Cook them up. Put them on the grill. Put some oil on them.
Yes.
It's
Boom.
delicious.
Yes, right. And what, peppers, onions? What do you do?
Peppers, onions, zucchini, a little bit of lemons. Onions a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I love it. So most of those you can put on the grill for a long time. Zucchini, you got to watch. It can go a little faster. Yep. Do you have any pets? And if so, do you think they're any different than farm animals?
We had pets, and we had a dog. Unfortunately, he's passed away. It becomes part of the family, right?
Yeah.
So. Dog becomes part of the family. So your question was, I'm sorry?
Yes, if you had any pets, and really, if you think they're any different than farm animals.
Ooh, that's a great question. For me, they were because I don't know if I'd bring a farm animal into my home, but because the dog became part of our home and traveled with us and all that stuff. But hey, it's a living creature, right? So it's part of God's world. So.
Yes. Okay, now here we might get a little more philosophical. What do you wish you knew 10 years ago that you know now?
Wish I knew 10 years ago. How quickly life goes.
Yeah,
it goes quick.
Right. Yeah.
It goes quick.
Yeah.
I say that because now we have one grandchild and another grandchild on the way. I wasn't thinking that 10 years ago because my kids were going through college. Now they've grown, they're married, and they're having children. So that's what I realized, how quickly time goes.
So now, be in the now, people.
Absolutely.
Get your now on now. Do you have a favorite phrase that you live by? It's been a tricky day, meetings aren't happening, and you just think like I'll give you an example. I always say, nose to the grindstone, eyes to the sky.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, love that. I love that because that shows no fear. That sort of says I got this. Come what may, I got this.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out.
I love that's why you're CEO. Okay, of course you're going to figure it out. Do you have any sense of purpose? I mean, obviously you work every day to really grow the numbers and stuff, but do you have a larger sense of this is what I'd like to be known for, or this is my purpose?
It's as you go through different stages in your life, I'm in that stage now, it's about legacy, right? And for me, the legacy is our people. I want, what's really important to me, the people that work for us, is that I get to know them on a personal level and a professional level, and understanding what's important to them on both those areas, and being able to enable them to achieve their personal goals along with their professional goals. That's what's really important to me with the type of people that we bring into the organization, and that I try to work very, very closely with to understand that stuff. Because we all have options of what we want to do. I want people to be here because they're passionate, they want to be here, they want to contribute, they want to be part of everything that we're creating, because it's a very unique opportunity that's out there. And the people we've been able to attract get that. They're wildly passionate about what we're doing, and they want to make sure that we're collective as a team successful.
That's wonderful. I love that. Again, that's why you're CEO. Remind me, how many people work for Greenleaf Foods?
In combined, we're just about 400 people.
Wow.
Between our location here, just our office just outside of Chicago, our plant in our plant in Massachusetts, and our plant in Seattle. And
then the Indiana plant's going to basically double that, 100%.
Exactly.
You're going to go for 460 more jobs.
Right.
So my last question for you, which is a little bit twofold. Do you see, any challenges coming in the future as you continue to grow these lines or in the general plant-based arena? And 2, what are your predictions for the future?
So I'll do the second question first. So I think we are all at the infancy of plant-based, of what's happening.
So
I
awesome.
really, really believe it.
Yeah.
While it's been around for a long time, to your point, Elysabeth, it is really just becoming of age, if you want to call it. You know, as people are not afraid to try it, people have an amazing experience, whether they try it at a restaurant or a stadium or by their neighbor's house or pick it up at a grocery store. They try it and they're having a great experience. So I think we're just kind of at the beginning of where this thing is going to go. And I think it's going to just continue to evolve and continue to explode all the way through. So I think that's really good. I think the other thing that's going to happen with it, brands are going to be really important because people will trust brands,
right.
And they know what they're all about. There's going to be a lot of people, to your point, that are going to come in and come out and do things because it's sexy, it's fun, all that. But I think the people that are really committed to it and the brands that are around that people trust, people will try things with. And I think that's really, really important with it. As far as the challenges, I think the challenge is really just keeping up with it. You know, there's only 24 hours in a day, only 7 days in a week, and sometimes things are coming fast and furious, and make sure we're prioritizing to make sure we're doing the right thing all the way through because it is happening so fast and furious. You know, our phone is ringing all the time as people are getting, you know, they're hearing buzz, they're trying to understand it, and to your point, different companies out there are buzzing about different things, right. And some of it's not all the same. So all those things I think are really, really important with it. So it's, as I tell the people here, buckle up. Like we're on a ride here, and we're going to have fun as we go along.
Strap in, folks.
Yeah,
we're here
go.
for a while. Just one kind of question off of that before we end. I thought you guys might be getting into fast food. Any partnerships therein that you can talk about?
So food service is obviously a big opportunity for us. We did not historically have a big food service business. It was more of a niche food service business, and that has been changing rapidly. We're in today probably only about 1,000 restaurants, but we were in 0 before. So good news is we're in 1,000. We are in talks with a number of big regional and national accounts, both in the U.S. and Canada. We recently launched in Kelsey's up in Canada, which is a restaurant chain up there, and there's more coming. So I would just say, hold on, more coming with it. As I think some of the restaurant chains that are out there, they don't want to be like everybody else as well. Right, so they want to have their options in there. They know that brands are important, and they don't want to be like the guy around the corner with it. So there's lots of things that are going on that we're wildly excited about. That I would say, stay tuned. Stay
tuned, everybody. It's a very exciting time. So just FYI, go to your grocery store and get Lightlife and/or Field Roast. And if for some reason you can't find it, you can always go to lightlife.com or fieldroast.com. Hit them up, or you can just go right to that supermarket manager and say, like, "Where's my Lightlife? Where is my Lightlife?" Which is what I do if for some reason they're out, because sometimes they're out of my Tempeh, which just won't work for me. So just go ahead and be vocal. It's what we do best. I am Elysabeth Alfano. This has been another episode of Awesome Vegans. Dan, I want to thank you so much for being here and Elysabeth, for all that you do.
Thank you, and thank you to awesome vegans out there. Bye-bye.
Bye.